He simply can't keep getting away with it. And he isn't, because the famous rapper slash real estate broker slash alleged kidnapper, Viper, is back behind bars again for the second time after getting his bond revoked. And there's also a lot more details that came out with this story. So let's get into it. So in my last video I made covering this topic, just under 2 weeks ago, I was talking about how Viper was released from jail after paying 10% of his $100,000 bond for his charges relating to keeping a woman captive in his garage for 4 to 5 years. And I just want to shout out a commenter here on this video named Teddy Spaghetti for pretty much predicting this outcome. You see, here he says he will probably have conditions the court will give him for the bond, if he gets it, such as not using marijuana or alcohol, etc. A lot of times these conditions will get people caught up in even more problems, which is exactly the case here, as Viper was charged with third-degree felony of a violation of a protective order for multiple instances on top of his kidnapping charges. The orders Viper was given for his bond conditions were, first of all, not to contact the victim at all. He was also to remain in Harris County or the surrounding counties. He was also to wear a GPS monitor at all times. And finally, he was to observe a curfew of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So can you guess which one of these bond conditions he actually broke? If you guessed that it was to not make any contact with the victim at all, then ding ding ding, you'd be correct. Viper called her multiple times, even directly in front of detectives who knew about the case. If there's a lesson to be learned in all of this, it's to not do that. And don't smoke crack. So I figured I'd explain a little bit about who Viper is for those who don't know what the heck is going on. So if you're not interested in this little bit of Viper lore, then you can go ahead and skip to this point in the video. Lee Arthur Carter, also known by his stage name Viper, began his music career at the young age of 7 years old while playing the organ for his father's church until he was around 17. As a freshman in college, Viper decided to enter the rap game using his Roland beat machine and a Yamaha Motif keyboard. He released around 11 full albums until someone uploaded his infamous track, "You'll Cowards Won't Even Smoke Crack," to YouTube in 2013, and he really popped off. Viper capitalized on this success by releasing chopped and screwed versions of his own music, releasing hundreds of albums. I'm not kidding, he has over 1,000 albums. And he did this by using reversed and slowed versions of other beats with his older lyrics thrown on top. Like this track released last month that uses a remixed version of Heart of Glass by Blondie and doesn't even feature any lyrics from Viper. It should also be known that during his time in college, Viper was selling drugs to supplement his income as part of the 5'9" Peru's gang, notably crack cocaine. He even released an album called 5'9" Peru Music, The Gang, The Album, The Label in 2012. Later in life, he started a real estate business called Free Movers Incorporated, which is most likely a front for more nefarious purposes, but that's the story I covered in this video. He tried to make the company public around 2011, but the Security Exchange Commissions denied his requests, and he responded in turn by attempting to sue the SEC. But after not appearing in court, the case was dismissed. But he didn't let this deter him, and in 2018 Viper became an official real estate agent, which is probably why all the articles surrounding him address him as such. Approximately a year after this point is where our story begins. Viper encountered a homeless woman asking for change on the street. He allegedly gave her $1 and offered her help, and brought her back to his place, where he locked her in the garage of his house for 4 to 5 years. He is now facing charges of aggravated kidnapping and a third-degree felony of a violation of a protective order for multiple instances after breaking his bail condition of not contacting the victim. Now, myself and many others had a lot of questions surrounding this case, like, where's the victim now? Is she safe? And what about the child she was pregnant with at the time? Finally, we have some answers. According to the prosecution, the victim was at the hospital when Viper was attempting to contact her. I assume this is because she was severely underweight when the police originally found her, but I don't believe they're going to release the hospital records, so that is just a guess. Also, according to the defense, all of the victim's children have been officially adopted, which is some good news because that home situation definitely wasn't a good environment to raise a family in. Also, I want to say that it's extremely concerning that Viper was trying to contact her while she was in the hospital, because it's on record that she had actually escaped from the garage before. As I said, she was there for 4 to 5 years. And she ended up in a hospital as well, but Viper just showed up to the hospital and brought her back to the garage, boarding up the windows. And personally, my mom had an ex that kind of went crazy after they broke up, and he started stalking her, and it was a very anxiety-riddled time because I was never sure if he would show up that day or not, and he would try to intimidate my mom and her friends. So she eventually got a restraining order that stated that he was not allowed on our street. And we also got a security system for the house. But he would park like just outside of our street and spy on her through like this little crevice with, I don't know, binoculars or some shit. I don't know, but I did catch him doing it once, and I ran out there and I chased him off until he drove away. So I'm just happy to know that Viper is behind bars and he's physically incapable of harassing that woman or like accessing her and being able to, I don't know, kidnap her again. That would be horrible. So there is some relief in that news. Now, whether or not Viper will forfeit his bail and have to pay the full $100,000 is undetermined at this time. I think technically that responsibility actually falls upon the surety, which is usually a bail bondsman, which makes this whole thing kind of like their business gig. There will be a citation sent out first, according to Texas law, and that surety will have the chance to appear in court and explain their case why a judgment of forfeit should not be made. So I guess there's still a chance, but even if it does happen, I doubt it will actually be coming out of Viper's pocket. But if that's incorrect, please let me know in the comments. Okay, just as a bit of an FYI, I am a bit late posting this video as this update was actually made on the 25th of January, but I just wanted to make sure I conducted better research this time around. I also wanted to produce more of a full video this time. If you want to hear more about the original case, I go into the kidnapping charge in more detail in the video you see on screen right now. And if you enjoyed the content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you.